The following is me, Sarah Neila Elkins, reading Book of CoL Recovery 1, Part 2, on September 20th, 2024. And today, I'm going to be reading Book of CoL Recovery 1, Part 2. After years of remaining anonymous, news of Book casually confirming their identity as Paige Simmons has left many skeptical. Is Simmons really the Book who has been so extensively studied by Dr. Hailu in her Appalachian laboratory? We have yet to reach Simmons, nor a representative to confirm their identity, and Dr. Hailu has been slow to respond to our requests for more information. Sven Travell, SNC, updated 17th October 2039. The security office for Little Asgard Heights is located on the first floor of the underground parking garage. A locked security door sits next to the large reinforced glass window with a call button and intercom built into it. The room is currently empty save for a cluttered desk area with some paperback books on it, a couple of computer monitors, and a worn office chair. The screens are turned away from where I'm standing. I watch the reflections in the window of the door at the back of the little room. Each screen is split into 4 images, which cycle through various security cameras around the building. There are more cameras around Little Asgard Heights than I've spotted. Not that I've been super active in looking for them. I press the call button and wait. I can faintly hear the sound of an electronic bell on the other side of the glass. After a few minutes, the door to the room opens and an incredibly muscular person wearing a tight security uniform ducks into the room. They have 4 horns growing from their scalp, 2 short ones pointing upwards, and 2 longer ones curving to the sides. Dark facial hair, light skin, and huge fangs. The result is a sort of orc look. They stop halfway into the small room and frown heavily at me. I can't hear them well, but I can read their lips perfectly fine. Not you. Shit. I wave politely and smile. The security guard grunts before shrinking down just small enough to fit in the office chair. They lean forward and activate the intercom, which stops the buzzing noise from the bell. What do you want? Hello. My name's Paige Simmons from Unit 221. She, he, they, whatever. I was hoping to look at some security footage from about a month ago. Their stare becomes a grimace. No. Excuse me? I ask. I can show you my PI license if that helps. This is for a job, I explain. They lean closer to the microphone and growl. I said no. Why not? Because I said so. I'm sorry, but I'm investigating a theft of a wheelchair valued over $3,000. That's a state jail felony, I explain. I just need to look at the footage real quick. If it's a felony, then come back with a warrant or something, the security guard barks. But they shake their head as their voice gets louder and deeper. Listen, I know who you are, and I do not give a flying shit. Do you know how much trouble you've caused in the last month? I had to get my car detailed to clean the blood off of it and out of the seats. I showered 3 times and never felt clean. Do you even know what it's like to be driving to work and have buckets of blood drench you because a couple Class S's decide to have a wrestling match over the city? Not to mention the damn reporters that keep trying to get into the building. So no, I do not have to show you shit. Go away. I stand there stunned. I knew I lost a lot of blood last month, as did Ezekiel, but I had no idea it hit anyone. I thought it was just some minor property damage. An inconvenience. That kid's drawing was a lot more accurate than I thought. I'm sorry, I say. The guard shuts off the intercom before turning around and leaving the room. I shut my eyes for a minute. I left my lockpicks at home, but I could come back and get past the door to sneak into the room without this guy knowing. It wouldn't exactly be legal, but I could do it. It would be so much easier if I had my powers. If I wasn't in my cooldown period. I let out a held breath and leave. There's plenty of other ways to get information about the night the wheelchair was stolen, and I know just where to start. Thunderskull's apartment is on the same floor as Renee's. Just around the corner, in fact. He's in 421, directly above mine. Apart from being someone foolish enough to punch me directly in the face, he's also known around the building as being the resident bad boy, thanks to his weekly parties. Parties that have ceased entirely since I paid him a visit upon moving into Little Asgard Heights. If anyone knows about this, it will be Thunderskull, I think to myself before knocking on his door. He answers it quickly, wearing an oversized black t-shirt and baggy jeans. The full cast on his right arm is visible, as is the simple sling strap holding it next to his ribs. I'm still surprised the wrap on the outside of the plaster is pink. He didn't strike me as the kind of guy who would like the color, or having flesh on his bones. Paige, Thunderskull says breathlessly. He runs his good hand through his fluffy hair. I mean, hello. Yep, this guy's taking his pain meds. Thunderskull, can we talk? Sure, gorgeous, he replies with a wink before leaning against the door frame to his apartment. His lids are heavy over his dark eyes. Certainly taking his pain meds. Right. Were you aware that a resident's electric wheelchair was stolen from her apartment last month? I ask. He sobers up immediately. He's used his powers to do it because he winces before answering and appears to be in pain while we talk. What? Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Someone busted the door in, right? You hear anything else? Why are you asking me? You're the only rule breaker I know in the building, I explain. And the unit across the hall from my client was vacant at the time of the break-in. I nearly rented it. I planned to ask her neighbors, but thought I'd start with you. Oh. Thunderskull scratches the back of his neck as he thinks. If you can remember anything from the night the break-in happened, it would be great. Even if you can only think of someone who may have come in for a party who'd do something like that. It was Tuesday. I went to bed early. No one was here for a party that night because I had work the next day. You have a job? There's an extended silence between us before he answers. Yes? That's good, I reply. If you think of anything else, let me know. I'm going to ask around to see if anyone saw or heard anything. Why don't you look at the security footage? The whole building has cameras, right? He asks. I tried that. Didn't make a good first impression with a security guy on duty right now, I say. Thunderskull laughs. It's pained, but not in an emotional way. More the shattered his arm on my face sort of way. You certainly made an impression on me. I mean, shit. I won't argue about that. Sorry about your arm. It's okay. I was the one who hit you. I was drunk and stupid and should be the one apologizing, he explains. I'm sorry, Mr. Simmons. I'm so sorry for hitting you. We could go back and forth for hours like this, but what's the point? It's a waste of energy, and I don't have the time nor stamina to spare on endless apologies. My dumping gallons of blood on the security guy in his car probably outdoes Thunderskull breaking his arm on my face by way of bad first impressions. Apology accepted. Thank you, Thunderskull. I'm about to leave when he steps out of his apartment into the hall. Wait, let me help. What? You don't have your powers, right? Yeah, cooldown period. So? Try the security guy again. I can't help but smile. He's not so bad when he's sober. And here is bonus art by J.L. Breyer of Thunderskull and Thunderskull, which is also the my desktop background right now. I really love how this piece turned out. He's so big and he's so sad. Okay. Recovery 1, Part 2, Part 2. The electric buzzer on the other side of the glass has been going for about a minute and a half before the security guy I previously spoke to enters the little room. They shove the chair out of the room to have more space to be big and angry. I manage not to laugh. "I told you to leave," the guard growls after hitting the button. "I get that, and I am very sorry about your car," I begin, "but I would really appreciate it if I could look at the security footage real quick. I just need to see if it caught anyone leaving the area with a wheelchair. I'll even cover the cost of your car detailing." The guard snorts hot steam out of their nose. "Let them see the footage," a deep voice like gravel, pain, and darkness says from behind me. I don't move as Thunderskull steps out from behind a nearby pylon. He draws closer, every footstep loud and heavy. The security guard gets a bit pale while looking above my head as Thunderskull's shadow eclipses me completely. His skeletal face, which sports long fangs and flaming eyes, reflects menacingly in the reinforced glass window. Even his horns are bigger than when I first met him. He's going all out back there. Good job. What do you think you're doing?" the guard stammers. "You said to come back with a warrant or something." "I came back with or something." "This isn't legal," the security guard says. "Strictly speaking, it's a gray area," I reply. "Please let me see the footage." "Fine." Here's Thunderskull and Paige. Thunderskull doesn't return to basic while we're in the security office, but he does shrink down to a more manageable height that's still much taller than his basic. His right arm has remained in the cast, unshifted the whole time. I guess most people would be too distracted by a giant skeleton man with horns and flaming eyes to notice the little arm in a pink cast. The security guard watches me review the footage. His name is Greg, and I owe him $450 for the car detailing. The shop charged him extra because of the gore. I have enough cash on me to cover it. I don't make a point of carrying around this much money normally, but did stop by my place after Thunderskull suggested trying the security office again. Right here is the middle of the night. We've got someone coming down the hallway towards the elevators. Several someones, I say as I run the video forward at 4 times speed. 3 shadows come around the corner. Then the wheelchair comes into view with a small figure riding on it. I pause the video and run it in real time. The shadows belong to 3 teenagers on foot and another on the chair. I pause the video when they're in the center of the frame and then glance back to Thunderskull. He has flames burning hot in his otherwise empty eye sockets, but I know he can still see. Do you recognize any of them?
2 of them are Abel's kids from downstairs. Don't know the other pair.
He growls back from above my shoulder. I take a couple photos of the monitor using my phone, careful to get a good shot of the kids' faces and the timestamp. Greg stands nearby with his thick arms crossed, scowling. Would you like cash or a check, Greg? I ask. Cash, he huffs. Can do. Thunderskull shadows me to my apartment again while I pick up some things before we go to Abel's unit, which is on the same floor as mine. He remains shifted, a 6.5-foot tall skeleton man with horns and flaming eyes. His right fingers are still flesh, as is the rest of that arm in the cast. His clothing, a black t-shirt and jeans, fit better with this larger frame. His boots are heavy leather with metal spikes on the toes. I haven't noticed anything he's wearing changing with him and recall his armor not doing so either the night we met. I wonder if he owns any shift-ready clothing at all. There are some cheaper brands on the market that should work with his Class A powers. I thought about changing clothes myself, but my t-shirt and jeans should be fine even if the t-shirt says Queer Cryptid, and the boots I'm already wearing are clunky. Not the most professional look for a private detective, but then again, I don't actually own anything that looks professional without me using my powers. The suit I wore last month was made of shift-ready clothing, and it got shredded. These boots were the only thing that I was wearing to make it out of a fight with Ezekiel. This, able person, what can you tell me about them, I ask. Works a security night shift, Thunderskull says. His voice is no longer the rock crusher it was when we visited the guard, but it's still not quite as basic either. A bit deeper and harder. He and him, Class B, has 2 kids, 14 and 16, both boys. I appreciate how to the point Thunderskull is when I ask him questions. It's incredibly helpful. I stop in front of the apartment door and knock. The theft happened on a school night, right? I muse. Like you never stayed up and got in trouble as a kid, Thunderskull replies. Not that kind of trouble. I was pretty busy with band. I swear, Thunderskull raises his brow ridge at me. The apartment door opens and 2 teens with blonde hair get a good look at us before shutting the door loudly. Please open the door, I say loudly, as I reach into my pocket for some supplies. My own unit's key card and some aluminum foil. Go, go, go! One of the kids shouts from deeper in the living room. I slip the card into the foil before sliding both into the door's card reader and quickly pulling them out while turning the handle. The door unlocks. I enter just in time to see the kids go over the balcony edge and disappear. Holy shit! I shout as I race into the room. I reach the balcony. A flexible rope ladder tied to the railing swings back and forth as 2 teens run across the grassy center courtyard of the Little Asgard Heights. A few people outside look up at me and then to the kids who duck into the back of the gym. It's not like I can just jump down after them. I turn around and discover Thunderskull is still in the doorway. Or still in the hallway. A stunned look on his bony face. Do you hear their dad in here? What? Do you hear Abel in this apartment? No, I don't, but you just broke in. I can tell the apartment belongs to a single parent with 2 unruly kids. It's not exactly clean, and someone has used ample amounts of body spray to mask the various odors that come with raising teenagers. Smells like sandalwood and sweaty socks. I lock the door as I exit the unit. It's a known flaw with this model card reader. I told building management about it after I moved in. It's also why I added an analog lock to my door. How do you know that? I'm really into lock sport. I'm a private investigator, I say. Thunderskull follows me as I walk to the elevators. As we wait for the car, I turn towards him and look him over again. I guess he could be intimidating to a teen or anyone without powers, really. He certainly seemed to scare the shit out of Greg. I'm not fazed by him because I'm a Class S. I really hate to do this, but would you mind if I asked you to return to basic for a bit? I ask. I understand if you'd rather not. You can go home and I can handle this myself. I don't want to go. I want to help, Thunderskull says. Those kids ran from you. I think they ran from you? He raises a brow ridge again. Everyone knows me as the skeleton party knight who throws ragers. No one's scared of me, especially those kids. They've tried to get me to buy them booze. He gestures at himself with his working hand as he adds, while I looked like this, not in my basic. The elevator doors open and we both enter. The security guard was scared shitless of you, and everyone knows I lost my powers, I say as I hit the button for the ground floor. I appreciate you helping me get the video. I can pay you for your trouble, by the way. Just go home and rest. I'm sure your arm must be killing you. Thunderskull points a bony finger at his skull with a chuckle. No nerves, no pain. I let out a huff of a sigh. Everyone knows your book, Thunderskull says as the elevator stops on the bottom floor. I may have scared the guard because I'm a Class S and he's only a B, but I'm not why the boys ran. Powers or not, you had a reputation even before last month. You really are Book, aren't you? I step into the hallway. Thunderskull a few steps behind me, spooky and tall. He's right. I did have a reputation as one of the few Class S's to be studied in the United States. Since people gain shape-shifting powers, I've become a bit of a myth. An urban legend, even. It's one reason I liked this queer cryptid shirt my best friend Melanie gave me. It's the sort of thing that would have been an inside joke until recently. I get it if you're not Book, Thunderskull finally says after a prolonged silence. I stop walking and look him in the face. I am Book, and yes, that Book. The one you're thinking of, not the one in that TV show teen drama thing. Book of Secrets? I love that show, he says with a skeletal grin. It's batshit. It really is. Wildly inaccurate to my high school days, but still. Anyway, yes, I can see how those kids would be running from me instead of you, I say. What are you going to do? Find the kids. And that is the end of part 2. If you've enjoyed listening to Book of CoL, you can also check out the series in its entirety on Tapas for free. Please also check out Slayer of Yggdrasil, my current web novel project on Tapas, which is also my entry in the Tapas Action Fantasy Novel Writing Contest. It follows Rebecca Holt as she is flung into a magical world and possessed by a talking axe, and sent on a quest to kill the corrupted tree Yggdrasil. Don't forget to like and subscribe here and on Tapas. Thank you!